So after yesterday, I decided that I am no longer going to see the therapist that I have been seeing. Um, I guess I'll tell you guys why. Um, I went to the clinic uh, yesterday, and before I saw my therapist, I was going to go see my psychiatrist. And I found out that my psychiatrist had canceled. I guess they did call, but usually when the doctor's office calls, I assume that they're calling to tell me to remind me of my appointment. So I never checked my voicemail or anything. And so when I went there, I found out that he had actually canceled. Excuse me, I might be doing this a lot through the video. I don't know why I've got like an itch in my throat, but so yeah, so he canceled, and it kind of sucks because I've been experiencing a lot of depression and like weird stuff lately, and I'm really up and down, and I wanted to talk to the doctor about upping my medication and possibly like trying some kind of antidepressant. And and so I was pretty upset when I got there and I realized that okay, this guy isn't available. I was like, okay, well, he's a human being, and I guess he did try to call me. I wasn't pissed necessarily that he was gone. I was pissed that I couldn't get the help I needed at that time. Also, I found out that to get a refill on my medication, I'm going to have to wait till after Monday, and I might not have enough medication to make it till Monday. So I'm kind of, yeah, I guess I'll just have to deal with that. Anyway, so after I experienced that, I, uh, I go outside, and I've been thinking about working lately because I've been I don't really get a lot of money. I get SSI, which is about $7.35 a month, and I'm very appreciative of it, and it's basically saved my life. And but at the same time, it's really just enough for somebody to survive, and I guess that's how a lot of people feel it should be. But I would like to be able to, save money occasionally and stuff. So I decided to. I was walking at the near the clinic, and I saw that there was there's this place called Job something and Jobs Incorporated or something like that. And I thought, oh well, maybe this is like a temp agency or something. And so I buzzed the door, and I was like, uh, it said, yeah, what do you guys do? What are you here for? And the person was like, well, we're here to help people with disabilities find work. And I was like, oh well, shit. Hey, I'm disabled, and I want to work again. So they let me in, and they told me basically that they work through Voc Rehab, but that you have to go through Voc Rehab before you can go through them. So I was like, okay, and I left, and I went back to the clinic because it was time for my therapy appointment. So I go in to see my therapist. For the love of, I cannot remember, for the life of me, I cannot remember her name every time I go in there, and that's like, I mean, you only see somebody once a month. It's kind of hard to remember like their name. That's just me. I don't know. Like, I'm not very good with memorizing things anyway. So yeah, it was just like I'm here to see and they were like, what's your name? So I gave them my name, and I was like, okay, yeah, I feel like an asshole. I can't remember my therapist's name, but. Anyway, so I sit in the waiting room. She comes out, and I think she couldn't remember my name either, because she goes into the counter area slash receptionist area. She's like, oh, who's here? Oh, blah blah blah. Such and such is here. Blah blah blah. So like she couldn't remember me either, I think. So anyway, she takes me back to her office, and she said some pretty neat things to me before. I can give her that, but about how the limbic system works, and the frontal lobe is like what you want to go with when you're having emotional issues, because the limbic system is not rational. I don't know. Anyway, I'm not going to go into full details about it right now, but so I go back there, I sit down, and I start telling her first off about how was not able to get in to see the psychiatrist. And she's like, oh, that's, I'm sorry to hear that. She's like, I really can't do anything about that. And I was like, yeah, I know that. I was trying to tell you that it was frustrating to me I wasn't asking you to fix my fucking problem for me, you know, like, what the fuck? So right off the bat, I'm just like, okay, this is gonna get weird. So anyway, that happens. And then she's like, so what else is going on? What else would you like to talk about today? And I told her, you know, how I was thinking about finding work. And I was wondering if she knew anybody who, you know, could help me talk to Voc Rehab or get a referral or something to Voc Rehab. And she's like, oh, let me call this person. So she calls this person. And this woman thinks that the place next door is Voc Rehab. And I'm like, no, it's not Voc Rehab. She's like, well, I just had a client go over there recently and they helped her. It's like, yeah, because she went through Voc Rehab first, you know? And I was like, whatever. You have to get a referral through Voc Rehab. The guy at the fucking place told me this. He was like the manager and everything. So I was just like, okay, this lady isn't really knowing her shit either. So I just kind of was like, okay, you know, she's like, well, I can call you Monday and we can discuss different things that you can do. And I'm like, okay, well, just, you know, thanks. And that's another thing, like, every time I would go see this therapist, she would always be trying to find something else to do instead of actually fucking listen to me or talk to me. And it was really irritating. And I don't know, so that kind of was bothering me too. But so anyway, I start telling her about all that, and we talk to the other woman, and then I start telling her, you know, why I want to make more, I want to have an income, more of an income. And she's like, well, you know, and I was telling her how I was feeling kind of hopeless about my situation, not necessarily the money, but that I can't really save, and that saving is taking a ridiculously long time, like a ridiculously long time. When you only get $735, you got to help pay some of the bills, and you know, yeah, I don't have to pay rent, but I still have to buy groceries, pay for my dog's dog food, all kinds of other little things that I have to pay for, and and so, you know, yeah, a portion of my money does go to other things, and then I put $300 aside. I put $250 to $300 aside off and on for the last, you know, like 8 months, 6 months. And there's been other things that have come up because, like my dog had to go to the vet, all kinds of stuff like that. So I haven't really, I mean, I've saved an okay amount of money, but I feel like I haven't been able to save very much. And so I was, you know, I was explaining this to her, you know, I'm not feeling like I'm able to, you know, I feel hopeless because this is taking so long. And she interpreted it as me complaining about money. And I was, and she was, you know, she said, well, you know, you could be all in a worse off situation. You know, there's somebody who lives right down under the bridge right over here. And I was like, yeah, I've been homeless, dude. Like, I know what that's like. And, you know, you have sometimes if you don't have, that's another thing. If you have this very low amount of money, this income that I'm getting from the government or the Social Security, okay, I would have to be homeless to save money if my mother was not helping me. I would have to be homeless. There's no way to save money and pay rent. It can't happen. So you're kind of screwed either way. Now, let's say there wasn't programs, because these programs don't always help people either. But, okay, let's say I couldn't get into low-income housing. I'd have to pay regular rent. I would have barely any money. Like, I would have barely anything. And sometimes you can't save to even get into a place if you don't have some other place to stay at to save your money. So it's this whole fucking fuckery of fuck that goes on when you're trying to save. And I've, you know, I don't think she would understand that, you know, and so I was talking to her about this, and she's like, yeah, it could be worse, you know, you could be homeless. And I was like, yeah, I've been homeless. And, and she just, you know, she kept saying things like that. She's like, well, you know, I'm really proud of you. You know, America's such a great country giving to their people. And, you know, we have it so much easier than other countries. And, you know, I agree with her. We do. But at the same time, it was like she was implying that I should be so grateful. I am grateful, you know, for the money I get. But she was also like implying that I like, how dare I, you know, I want to save money. Good fucking God, you know, like, and I was just like, I was just sitting there. I was like, yeah, I don't think I want to talk to this fucking woman anymore. She's sitting behind a fucking desk telling me shit that I already know for $30 fucking an hour. And then, and then she's getting, not irritated, but she's implying that, I shouldn't be complaining about, the amount of money I get. So I was just like, okay, yeah, well, I want to see this bitch live off $735 a month. I want to see how she does. Yeah, with no programs. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck her, dude. I'm sorry. This is very unadult and unprofessional of me, but really, I mean, who the hell are you to even say that to me? That would be like me going up to the homeless person and being like, "Man up, homeless dude. I get, whatever." It doesn't make sense. So I just, I'm just like, wow, this woman's crazy, and she has no idea whatsoever what I'm fucking going through. Fuck her. I don't ever want to come here again. And I will probably talk to the other person that we called to see if I can get help finding work and stuff. But beyond that, I'm not going to see that therapist again. She has no idea what is going on. She may be able to talk to people about their problems and stuff, but coming from, the way she was, I don't feel comfortable talking to her. That's all I'm going to say. She definitely, I felt like she was kind of like looking down on me. And when in reality, I just needed somebody to be like, hey, I'm sorry that things have been hard for you and that you're having a hard time saving. Yeah, 735 is a pretty small amount of money. It's got to be hard to save on that. That's all I wanted to fucking hear, I wanted to hear that. I needed somebody to go, hey, sorry. And she could not fucking do that. So I was like, why the fuck are you a therapist? Anyway, that was my experience yesterday. And, I don't know. I feel that people who are, who get assistance from the government, I feel that we're looked down on, and that we're supposed to be like, happy living in a shitty situation. And, I just don't understand that. I thank you to everyone for helping me, with the whole money thing, but at the same time, it's, I'm a human being. I would like to be happy too and be able to go do things and get back to people I care about. So anyway, um, that's my story for today and yesterday or whatever. Anyway, thanks for listening. Bye.